You guys are just stopping me, particularly from going in and using it.
Yes.
You guys are denying service because of my assistive devices.
That is correct.
Part 11 of a multi-part series featuring Guilford County, North Carolina. This is the second part of the three-part pretrial evidentiary hearing. This video is riddled with technical difficulties. The court and prosecutor refused to assist in playing the video in court, even though they were provided a link to the video well in advance. Providing a safe link to a downloadable video in this digital age is essentially the same as handing someone a physical CD. Yet, the court wouldn't budge despite the issues with their chosen web conference service. The whole hearing lasted nearly 9 hours, spread over 2 separate days, so we have split it up into 3 parts. This is the second part of the 3-part pretrial evidentiary hearing. This part occurred after lunch on March 2nd, 2022. Skip to the 5-minute mark to avoid some of the wait.
Yes, sir. From the
You may.
Nelson, this is James with the DA's office. Are you back with us?
I am back, and I have the interpreter on the line. I think we're ready to go.
You may proceed.
Okay, I think we're still on cross-examination of Miss Barbee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Miss Barbee, before the break, before the recess, we reviewed a video from January 13th of 2020. Were you able to see that and hear that video?
Yeah. Yeah.
And was that a fair and accurate representation of what happened that day?
Again, I think part was missing because the video started, I was already out in the lobby, and I would have not been out there if someone had not requested my presence. So
okay, we can play the video back again. You weren't actually in the lobby until I talked to the lieutenant there. So if we need to play it back again so you can refresh your memory, we can do that.
Again, I was standing there during that.
Okay, well we'll cue it back up and we'll play it again.
We can't hear Mr. Nelson. If you speak up, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Judge, I guess we need to play this video again. She's saying she didn't see the beginning, and she clearly wasn't there at the beginning, and she entered later into the video. So if we need to play that again to refresh her memory, I'm willing to do that.
No, I don't need you to play the video again. I'm saying that you did not record the portion where I initially came out into the lobby.
What? Yeah, I was addressing the judge. I don't know why the witness is talking.
I don't think we need to watch it again. You can just ask another question.
Okay. All right. So, Miss Barbee, you testified that you told me to leave and that there was no recording, yet the video does not show that. So do you want to change your testimony to match what the video shows?
I do not.
Okay, so you're going to stand by your previous testimony that you told me to leave on that date.
Again, I was in the lobby prior to the recording.
That's a yes or no, Miss Barbee. Please answer the question.
Repeat your question.
Yeah. So did you tell me on that date, January 13th, 2021, to leave the lobby?
Yes.
Okay, where was that in the video that we just watched?
Clearly, you did not record that portion.
Okay. Were you present? Who called you into the lobby that day?
I do not remember.
Okay. But you have no evidence to show that you were there prior to when you showed up on the video. Is that correct?
No, I was not recording.
Okay. If we get the security camera footage from Guilford County from that date, will it show that you don't actually appear in the video until we showed it?
Object to the speculation.
She's given firsthand witness testimony of when she was actually there, Judge. It's not speculation.
I don't recall when I walked out. I don't recall who asked me to come out, but I would not have just voluntarily walked out. Somebody,
okay.
I would have let security handle the situation until I was called.
Okay. So at some point you were called, but you were not there in the beginning of the video. The video started with me at near the water fountain. Is that correct?
I don't know. Did it?
You just watched the video. If we need to play it again to refresh your memory, we can.
That is not the same video from the 4th.
We're talking about the 13th, ma'am. We're talking about the video that you just watched before the break of January 13th, 2020. If we need to play the video to refresh your memory, we can.
I don't need you to play the video again.
Okay.
But you clearly did not record me coming in.
Please don't interrupt me.
Answer.
I didn't hear you.
Let her finish her answer. You can't both be talking at the same time.
That wasn't a question, Judge. She's arguing. She's being argumentative.
Well, please ask the question and let her give you an answer.
Okay. Will you instruct the witness to not argue with the defense?
Just ask her a question.
Okay. Miss Barbee, the video that we played prior to the recess was of January 13th, 2020. Did you see the beginning of that video?
Where it started recording, yes.
Okay. In the beginning of that video, you could clearly see that I was standing on the right side of the lobby near where the bathrooms are. Is that correct?
No, I cannot clearly see where you're standing.
Okay. Did you see that I had to move around some chairs and get to where the service counters were?
Yes.
Okay. So you could see on the video that you were not in the lobby at that time. Is that correct?
I did not see myself in the video.
Okay. You could see Lieutenant Bowen in the lobby. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So from what we just got entered with this video, you had me and Lieutenant Bowen in the lobby, but you were not present. Is that correct?
From what I can tell from your angle.
All right. Thank you. So at some point you came into the lobby and then you addressed me. And at no point in this video did you ever tell me to leave. Is that correct?
That is correct. At
Right.
no point in that video.
Okay. Now, is there any point in this video where you tell me to stop recording?
In that video, there is no point where I tell you to stop recording.
Okay. If I ask a yes or no question, just give me a yes or no. Okay, Miss Barbee?
No.
Miss Barbee, did you hear the instruction?
She's answered the question. Let's move on.
All right. I just want the record to show that she's being combative and argumentative.
Move on.
All right. Moving on to the second time that you say you encountered me in the health department lobby before February 4th, 2020. What was that date?
I do not recall.
Okay. Is it true that you did not, in fact, encounter me between January 13th and February 4th?
I believe that January 13th date was the second encounter. I believe there was one before that.
Okay. What was that date?
Again, I don't remember.
Okay. How many times did I visit the health department?
That I am aware of 3 times.
3 times. Okay. So we have a video to play from the second time I visited the health department, and that's January 31st, 2020. So we're going to go ahead and share that video. Mr. Williams, do you have that?
What's the title of this one? I've got 2. One is a live stream. Oh.
No, it's not a live stream. It's a GoPro video of the health department. It's maybe like a 10-minute video.
I've got the one about the one of Boyce and the one of live stream. That's it. I don't have another 131.
131 Boyce, I believe, is in the video. I think Dougherty's in the video. Miss Barbee is nowhere in the video.
I can start it if you can tell me if it's the one you need.
No, I guess we can share it from this end. If you don't know which video we need, well, give us a minute.
I don't think I have that video.
Okay. It should have been the link that we sent you earlier, but it's all right. We'll mute and give us a minute. We'll try and get the video shared.
Yes, I have it. I'll have to share it on my main computer. I don't have it on my laptop. I can do it now, though. Hey, Mike. Mike, I have that video on my main computer. I can share it on that computer.
Are we close?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Then are we close to seeing something?
I think so.
Screen is shared. And you said this is one you have description of already.
Yes, yeah, this is one of mine.
Do you have any other questions while we're waiting on this?
Sure. Mrs. Barbee, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, going back to the video before the break from the January 13th visit, did you hear me in the video ask who you were when you started talking?
Yes.
And you identified yourself as Leslie and being over vital records, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And would you normally introduce yourself to somebody at the beginning of a conversation?
You asked who I was.
Right. The question is, do you typically introduce yourself at the beginning of a conversation?
Not typically.
Okay. Is it considered polite or normal to introduce yourself at the beginning of a conversation?
I'll sustain that. That's not relevant.
Okay. I can't hear the prosecutor if you made an objection.
I didn't object.
Okay. Mrs. Barbee, is it reasonable for a visually impaired person to ask somebody to introduce herself at the beginning of a conversation?
object to the relevance.
This goes to her claiming that somehow she was hiding in the lobby without my knowing or the video recording it, and in fact, that's not the truth. That she was actually there, and that was the beginning of the conversation when I asked her to identify herself.
I sustain it.
Okay.
Okay, is the video, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is the video on the screen?
Yes.
You ready to play it?
Yes.
You may proceed.
Sorry about that. There was a video on the laptop that was interfering with it. Okay. What time index, Mike?
I think I enter around 2 minutes. So if unless the prosecutor wants to object, like we can skip to where I actually enter the building.
I don't need to be heard.
Yeah, it's unmuted. Still no audio?
No, sir, no audio on this end.
Over. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it. We could.
Can you see it now?
No.
Okay. It says it's not muted. Should be playing. Can you hear it?
Don't hear any sound.
The microphone's working. Can you hear it?
Can't hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sharing the audio.
Boo-boo.
The only thing I know to do is just get out and get back in. Maybe it's something's frozen. All the buttons are in the right place.
Any other questions?
Not me.
Yeah. Yes, Judge, I have some more questions.
You may proceed. He said he had,
And you still cannot hear, correct?
we can't hear.
Is that correct? You still cannot hear?
No, we're not hearing the video.
Ms. Nelson, did you say you
Is that
had
correct?
more
Still
questions?
cannot hear?
Yes, Judge, I have more questions.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Barbee, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, Madam Court Reporter can't hear.
I'm going to exit and get back in.
If you'll speak up.
Your Honor, I believe that might help.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Ms. Barbee, can you hear me too?
Yes.
Okay. In the direct examination this morning with the prosecution, you testified that you have all kinds of different clientele that visit the health department lobby. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you said there's a whole various reasons why people go to get services from the health department. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just looking at a person, getting visual information about who's coming and going into the health department, would somebody be able to tell why they're there to get what services?
The relevance.
I'll sustain that.
The relevance is this case is about use of video recording devices.
I'll
And
sustain that. You ask another question.
okay. Ms. Barbee, what is directly outside the health department main doors?
The courtyard to the courthouse and the jail.
Okay, and as far as you know, that area is open to the public?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a policy in place for the health department or Guilford County that prevents somebody from recording from that location?
Yes.
What is that policy or
Well, the policy is the same as it is inside the building. It's on Guilford County property.
so it's your understanding that nobody can record from that public courtyard at all?
Without permission.
Okay. Do you have a policy that states that?
Yes.
What is that policy?
Well, I have the policy that I gave you earlier, or that I guess it was sent to you earlier.
Is that the policy that you used to refresh your memory for this testimony?
Object to the relevance, the issue of recording on the plaza
I'll
courtyard.
sustain that. That's not relevant.
The relevant is if it's appropriate or legal and authorized for people to record outside the door, there's no physical difference of recording inside the door.
I'll sustain it.
Okay. Are the front doors of the health department made out of glass?
Yes.
Okay. Can people see through that glass from the courtyard?
Not very well. They have to get right up on the
Can you
door.
hear?
Got a mirrored front.
Okay. But it is transparent glass, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Couldn't hear it.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Trying the video again, still no audio.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. Okay. And Ms. Barbee, can you still hear me?
Yes.
In the direct examination with the prosecutor, you said that clients receive treatment. When you said that, were you referring to in the health department lobby or somewhere else in the clinic?
They have to check in the lobby. They receive the treatments in the clinic or in WIC or in dental.
Okay, so the health department isn't providing treatment in the lobby. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is the health department personnel discussing private medical information in the lobby?
They may ask them questions about why they're there, when their appointment time is, or their personal information, as in their birth date, social security numbers, any kind of identifying information.
Yeah, I'm saying, I don't know why you can't hear. Yeah.
Seven, you're on here twice, one at a time, one.
Okay, what do you want?
Not muted.
Can you hear me? All my mics are muted.
I forgot what that last question was. With the interruption, is there any way we can have that last question read back, please?
Madam Court Reporter, would you read that question back?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
The question was whether or not they were asking for personal health information in the lobby.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Judge. So I'll ask that question again, Ms. Barbee. Does the health department staff make a practice of asking clientele to disclose private health information in the lobby?
Not health information, but identifying information.
Is that identifying information protected by HIPAA?
Object to the relevance.
The relevance is what this case is founded on. It's what the theory of the prosecution was.
You can answer it. You can answer that question.
It is protected information.
Is it protected under HIPAA?
No.
Okay, what protects that information?
Because these people have confidentiality with why they are here for services. They come to the health department and they don't want their information made public, which is what you were doing.
Okay, Ms. Barbee, please answer the question. The question wasn't how people feel about what happened. The question is what protects that information.
Object to the asked and answered question. She provided an answer.
I also saying that's another question.
She was unresponsive, Judge. She didn't answer the question.
She gave an answer.
If I ask a question that demands an answer and she talks about unicorns, that's not responsive, Judge.
Answer another question.
Okay. As far as you know, is there any legal codification to the signage that you swore in direct testimony is on the door regarding no electronic device or electronic recording device?
All of this is in the information that I think was emailed to you, and I will even go back and answer your previous question because it's in this information. Now, I don't know this by heart, but it does go to confidentiality. In some cases, the identity of clients, as example of juveniles in court proceedings, is subject to confidentiality. Healthcare providers are prohibited from releasing any personal information. That includes their name or anything else, and you're in there recording that information. I will then go on and say that we do have a portion in here about filming and videotaping that says we can, at our discretion, prohibit recorded devices.
And what are you referring to?
By posting those signs.
I think we interrupted each other. I'm sorry. What are you referring to?
This is our policy.
Okay, the policy, does it have a codification? Is there a policy number? Is there a statute number?
There are statute numbers. I don't have any glasses.
What is that statute number for that policy?
See Hodges versus Board of Commissioners.
Okay, Miss Barbee, that would be a case law reference. The statute would be like a North Carolina state law. Is there any North Carolina state law associated with that policy?
Can you tell me? I'm not a lawyer. I'm sorry. I can't answer your question.
Are you aware of any state law that supports that policy? Is usually when there's signage up, you'll have in North Carolina, it's called the general statutes. You'll have something say NCGS and then a number with it if it's supported by state law. The signage in the health department on the doors that you testified were there, does it have any kind of NCGS and a number on it?
I do not remember.
Okay. If we show you a picture of the signage, would that refresh your memory?
Yes.
Okay. I think we have that. We can also show whenever we figure out the technical difficulties here.
Just holding up the paper with highlighted sections.
Okay.
Holding mouth to the side, kind of when she was talking.
Can I take a minute, please, Judge? Try to figure out the technical stuff.
All right. We got to move on. We're running out of time.
Okay. Muted. All right, I think we're going to try to share the picture of the signage so that you can look at that, Miss Barbee. Mr. Simmons, if you have that, if you can please put that up. Is there anything going on, James?
No, she's just has her head, resting her chin in her hand.
Okay. Do we get the pictures up yet?
See the no trespassing, official business only, no trespassing, official business only, and in Spanish, notice no cameras or other recording devices allowed beyond this point.
Okay, so it is there. Can you still hear me, Miss Barbee?
Yes.
All right. Can you see the pictures?
Somewhat, yes.
Can you read what the signs say?
Yes.
Okay, will you go ahead and please read what the sign says?
Notice, no cameras or other recording devices allowed beyond this point.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate representation of the signage that was on the building on February 4th, 2020?
Yes.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
also in Spanish.
Now, you testified and during direct examination with the prosecutor that the health department does not selectively enforce that policy on people. Is that correct?
What do you mean by selectively enforce?
The prosecution asked you earlier if you selectively enforce that policy, and you said no.
That's for everybody, yes.
Okay, is it enforced equally upon everybody?
Yes.
And how is that enforced?
Well, if we see someone recording, they're told they have to stop or leave the building.
Okay, does the sign say no recording?
I'm sorry. No, it does not.
Okay, the sign says what?
No, yes, it does say. I'm sorry. It says no cameras or recording devices.
Okay, so it doesn't say no recording, correct?
Check to the asked and answered question.
Abstain.
She answered one way and then she answered another way. I
You
want
read
to know
the
what.
sign, I'll take judicial notice of what the sign says.
Okay, so the sign says no recording devices. Is that correct, Ms. Barbee?
Correct.
All right. And do you enforce that on everybody that enters the building?
Yes,
Is a smartphone a recording device?
it is.
Okay. Do you have security stopping people when they come in and tell them that they can't bring their smartphones in the clinic?
We do not tell them they can't take their phone in, but we do stop them from using it while they're in the building.
Okay, but the sign does not say not to use it. It says that it's not allowed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. In the video that was played earlier, you said before you were on the stand, you said you watched it from the courtroom, the videos that were played prior to your testimony. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in that security camera video, did you see other clients or other people walking through the lobby?
Yes.
Now, did you see any of them holding a smartphone?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Would it help you refresh your memory if we played just those timestamps where people are walking through with their smartphones in their hands?
If you need to.
Do you believe that people were walking through with smartphones in their hands?
I'm sure that people do walk around with their phones in their hands.
Okay, thank you. And then I think if we have anywhere with the video share, if we're ready.
So you talk to me. I can try.
No, we're going to try to share from this end.
Okay.
Can you still hear me, Miss Barbee?
Yes.
Let me draw your attention back to the February 4th encounter. Again, you testified that you saw me enter and go to the bathroom and go to the water fountain, and you said that was live. Is that correct?
Yes.
So did you see me go to the bathroom, like live?
No, I only saw you come out of the bathroom and get water.
Okay. And to the prosecution's question about what happened after the arrest, that you said you received phone calls and emails. Were you able to determine if people emailing or phone calling you were people trying to get me in trouble with Guilford County, like pretending to be my supporter and issuing threats, or if they were my supporters? Were you able to determine that at all?
I would have no way of determining that except that they said, I saw the video, and that would make me believe they were your supporters or your followers.
Okay. Are you aware that people who don't like transparent government videos call government entities to try to get... Okay. Well, the questions were allowed in from the prosecution on things that happened after the arrest, so I don't know why this isn't relevant.
This is a motion to suppress the evidence. We got to stay on point.
Okay. If we need to move on, in the interest of judicial economy, Judge, if we need to move on to another witness and then call Ms. Barbee back once we have these videos ready to play, we can do that.
Commission, do you have any more witnesses?
Yes, sir. My next witness would be Captain Daugherty of security.
You call your next witness. You may step down.
And Your Honor, at this point, the state would request to release Ms. Barbee, making an inquiry to the court if she needs to stay around and continue to be sequestered.
I object to that. I have further questions for Ms. Barbee.
I'll ask her to stay.
Understood.
I'll keep her alone. You
can feel free to give it to me after each speaker if there's anything, body language or facial expression.
stand up, place left hand, right hand. Yeah, by my right hand. May proceed.
Sir, Captain Daugherty, could you just introduce yourself to the court and spell your name for the record?
Captain Vincent Daugherty, Guilford County Security, and it's Daugherty.
You can take your mask off if you like, just so we can hear you better.
Okay.
And where are you employed?
Guilford County Security.
How long have you been employed with Guilford County Security?
It'll be 8 years in May.
And where were you employed before that?
I was in the Army.
How long were you in the Army?
24 years and some change.
What was your occupation in the Army?
Field artillery.
Did you retire?
Yes, I did.
What rank did you retire at?
Master Sergeant.
And what is your position in Guilford County Security?
I'm presently captain. I basically handle operations.
Were you employed with Guilford County Security on February 4th, 2020?
Yes.
And what role or capacity were you in at that time?
I oversee the security operations for the High Point County buildings.
And were you working in uniform that day?
Yes.
Were you working over at the High Point Health Department?
I was working at the courthouse, but I answer calls for the health department as well.
And that location, is it in the territorial boundary of Guilford County?
Yes,
Did you come into contact with an individual who later came to be known to you as Michael Nelson that day?
I did.
And do you see Michael Nelson in this court proceeding?
I do.
Where do you see Mr. Nelson?
He's the second frame from the top left.
Can you see what he's wearing?
Yes.
What's he wearing?
He's wearing a white button-up shirt with stripes.
And if you could just describe to the court what you remember about coming into contact with him that day.
I got a call that there was an individual that was in the health department recording and was refusing to turn off his recording devices or to leave. So I went over to the health department, and that's where I seen Mr. Nelson. And it basically repeated the same things that he had been told prior to my arrival.
What did you tell him when you got there?
I told Mr. Nelson that if he wanted to stay in the building, he would need to turn off his recording devices. If not, then the staff was requesting that he leave.
Did he respond to you when you told him this?
Well, he did. He talked a little bit and asked a few questions.
Why did you believe he was recording at that time?
Objection, speculation.
I didn't hear anything, Judge.
I said objection, speculation. I can't hear the judge. He's speculating. He was asked what he believed my motives were. There's no way for him to know that.
Why did you believe he was recording?
I was told that it was being live streamed on YouTube.
Did you ask him if he was recording?
I did not ask him specifically if he was recording, no.
And did he have any equipment with him?
Yes, he did.
What, if anything, did he have at that time?
He had a cell phone that was on a selfie stick, and other than another device, which I'm not sure what that was, it goes up around his head, so I'm not sure what that was, but I do recall it did have the cell phone on the selfie stick, on the stick.
At any point, did he ever tell you that he was not recording?
No.
At any point, did he ever deny recording?
No.
Were you familiar with Mr. Nelson?
Yes, from a previous time when he had came to the courthouse.
And the previous time, did he have the same equipment with him?
He did. The first time he had a GoPro that was attached to his body, but I don't recall at the health department him having that.
During any of your previous contacts with Mr. Nelson, are you aware of him recording those incidents?
No, other than the first visit at the courthouse, I wasn't aware of. I did not deal with him recording personally.
And did there come a point where you told him to leave the health department?
I stated he would need to stop recording or he would have to leave.
What happened after you gave him that instruction?
He did not leave, and at that point is when I repeated the request again, and at that point I I turned it over to Officer Boyce.
You aware if this incident or your interaction with Mr. Nelson was recorded on any health department security footage?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to view that security footage before you testified today?
Yes, I have.
And that security footage, is it the same or substantially similar as the incident that you witnessed that day? Anything in that footage been altered or manipulated in any way?
No.
Would that footage help you to illustrate your testimony?
Yes, it would.
And Your Honor, at this point, just for judicial economy and to save the court's time, I would just move to introduce State's Exhibit number 1 into evidence for illustrative purposes. That is the security camera footage that we viewed this morning. I just asked to incorporate that by reference.
I object to that evidence. It's clearly been altered with and tampered with. The security camera footage starts with me seated. We already had testimony that from Ms. Barbee saying that I had walked in the lobby, gone to the bathroom, gone to the counter, and that is not in the security camera footage. So that the state has altered, or somebody has altered that security camera footage, and it should not be admitted as evidence.
I'll allow it. I'll note your objection. You may proceed.
And Your Honor, just for clarification, since it's already been viewed and published in that way, is the court allowing it to be incorporated by reference so that we don't have to watch it again?
I'm allowing.
Yes, sir. And Captain Dougherty, you saw that security camera footage? Yeah. To your knowledge, has that been altered or manipulated in any way?
No, it has not.
Have you altered or manipulated that?
No.
Have you been directed by any person at the district attorney's office to alter or manipulate that video footage?
Not at all.
And that security camera footage is a fair and accurate representation of what happened that day?
Yes.
Do you have any explanation as to why it started at one particular place where Mr. Nelson was seated as opposed to an earlier time frame?
The only thing that I would say to that is that was the actual beginning of the incident where we were called in to deal with the recording incident. Everything before that really didn't really have anything to do with why I was called.
Objection, speculation.
I'll sustain that.
And what happened after Officer Boyce arrived over at the health department?
After Officer Boyce arrived, I spoke with Mr. Nelson again, repeating the same thing of stop recording or you would have to leave. And after he did not comply with that, then I turned it over to Officer Boyce, and he then in turn asked Mr. Nelson if he was going to, stop recording or if he was going to leave. So
what happened after Officer Boyce asked Mr. Nelson that?
After that, he repeated himself a few more times, and then he went ahead and attempted to place Mr. Nelson under arrest.
What happened after he attempted to place him under arrest?
Mr. Nelson, after the cuffs were, one of the cuffs was attempted to be put on, he turned away and was asking questions and wasn't allowing the officer to place him in handcuffs.
And what happened when he didn't allow Mr. Boyce to place him in handcuffs?
When he did not allow him to be cuffed without incident, the incident progressed to Officer Boyce telling him to stop resisting, and then at that point he was placed on the ground in an attempt to still get the handcuffs on, and Mr. Nelson was not willingly putting his hands behind his back, so there was a degree of resisting until the cuffs actually got put on.
Can you just describe what you saw from the point where Mr. Nelson is standing to where he's on the ground?
What really happened was once Mr. Nelson turned and started to move away, Officer Boyce approached him, put his hands on him to try to get the cuffs on, and at that point he actually put Mr. Nelson on the ground. On the ground.
Stop right there. And where was this?
Yeah, I didn't hear the answer. I just heard the question. The whole answer was gone. I don't think we had an audio problem.
Let me restate the answer.
Okay. So after Officer Boyce approached Mr. Nelson to place him in cuffs, Mr. Nelson turned away from Officer Boyce, at which time Officer Boyce continued to approach Mr. Nelson to get the cuffs on him. At that time, Officer Boyce had grabbed Mr. Nelson and got him on the ground in an attempt so he could get him cuffed.
At any point, did you ever see Mr. Boyce throw Mr. Nelson to the ground?
No.
At any point, did you ever believe that Mr. Nelson, there was any medical issues going on?
No, not to my knowledge.
Objection, speculation. The witness is not a medical professional.
And where was all this taking place?
It was taking place at the health department in front of the pharmacy window on the main level.
Business hours?
Yes.
At any point during this interaction, did you believe Mr. Nelson needed medical attention?
No, I did not.
And was Officer Boyce ever able to get him restrained and handcuffed?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Where was that?
That was actually on the floor of the same location.
And if you recall, from the time that you made contact with Mr. Nelson up until he was placed in handcuffs, do you recall about how long that was?
I would say just a couple of minutes, 2.5 minutes maybe.
Your Honor, those are my questions for Captain Dougherty on the arrest.
Probably.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Michael, I do apologize. I'm at the end of my shift now. I can hand you off to another agent.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna inform them. Thank you, James. The IRA agent needs to change shifts, so can I get a minute to get another agent on, please? Am I muted? Okay, I've got the new IRA interpreter. Are you ready to proceed, Judge?
You may proceed.
Mr. Dougherty, can you hear me?
I can.
You testified that you have encountered me prior to February 4th. Is that correct? Was the first time on December, I think it's 18th, 2019?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Okay, and that was at the courthouse just across the courtyard from the health department?
Yes, it was.
Okay. In that encounter, was I using similar devices that I used on the 4th?
Yeah, I believe you were.
Okay. And do you remember we had a discussion about my recording devices because there's a courthouse policy about not allowing those devices?
Correct.
And in that conversation, you and I both acknowledged that these are my assistive devices. Do you remember that?
I remember that the GoPro was not part of that discussion, though, as being an assisted device.
Okay. If we play a video of that encounter, would it help refresh your memory?
It might.
Okay. Judge, I know this is a suppression hearing. We do have the video. If this goes to trial, we can use that video to impeach the witness. So in interest of judicial economy, I think I'm going to reserve those questions and that video so that we can move along with this hearing.
You may proceed.
Okay. If Your Honor, if you want that video to get a better understanding of the veracity of the witness, I'm happy to present it. But I think we can continue.
You can just continue.
Mr. Dougherty, let's go back to February 4th. Let me draw your attention to February 4th at the health department. Correction, let me back up. Let's go to January 31st, 2020. So it's going to be a few days before the 4th. I went to the health department on that day. Were you there?
On the 31st? No.
I believe that was a Friday.
Yeah, I don't recall being there on the 31st.
Okay. And that video is the video that we were trying to get played for Mrs. Barbee. I think we have it ready now. Is that right? Yeah, this video is a lot shorter. So we're going to play that for you to refresh your memory because it's the health department. The courthouse video on the 18th of December is relevant, but we can preserve that for a later date, the 31st of January. Yeah, so Mr. Capps, this video is from the 31st of January. This is the one that I think Mr. Simmons was trying to play earlier.
Before we play it, maybe I need to bring Mrs.
Well, Your Honor, at this point, I believe Mr. Dougherty has told him he's not there on January 31st. So I'm having trouble seeing where the relevance for this video is.
The relevance is if he's in the video and he just lied on the stand.
Is he in this video?
Yes, sir, he is.
The 31st, I don't recall that one, but
I'm offering to refresh the man's memory.
That's fine. My question is, if this is the video you're going to question the other witness on, she might as well watch it. We're going to have to watch it twice.
That sounds fine to me, Judge.
You'll bring her back.
I believe Officer Boyce is also in this video, so if he's standing by, he can come in and watch as well.
They can.
Whenever you can, like anytime they answer, yeah, just you're an interpreter, so yeah.
Wait a second, wait 1 second.
Yeah, mostly everyone's looked pretty kind of tired.
You hold it 1 second. Stand right here where they can see it. That's fine, you may.
right there I am. Okay, 31st. I see me. I didn't remember being there on the 31st. I said, that's me. I did not remember being there on the 31st.
Did we get the other witnesses in? Were they able to?
They're in.
Okay. We're trying to get the audio so we can hear what was actually said on that date. Same problem.
Yeah.
I can move on with the question. Well, actually, we have witnesses in there. I'll just wait. Judge, can we just play this without audio and then we can go from there?
That's fine.
All right. Okay, I'm ready to proceed with Mr. Dougherty if the other witnesses would be sequestered.
Yeah, I'm going to step out. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Dougherty, can you hear me?
Yes.
So that, again, that was January 31st, my second visit at the health department. Did you see yourself in that video?
I did.
Okay. Did you see Leslie Barbee in that video?
I don't know.
Did you see
the video? I don't know. I was kind of watching myself there because I really didn't remember being there on the 31st. So.
Okay. Did you see Alphonso Boyce there in that video?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember that I was there and I had questions about a mental health services from the county?
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay. And they were trying to give me directions to mental health. I think you ultimately were the one that gave me directions to mental health. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So on that encounter, do you remember telling me to leave at all?
No.
Okay. Do you remember telling me that I couldn't be in there recording at all?
No.
Okay. Let's go to kind of your training. I think the prosecutor talked about some of it. As a security guard with Guilford County Security, are you trained to enforce the policies of the facilities that you're assigned to?
Yes.
And are you trained to enforce those policies equally?
Absolutely.
So if a member of the staff or employees at the facility are violating policy, are you trained to make sure that they are following policy?
I don't know. It's their policy. I mean, I don't, you know, as far as the staff, I'm not there to watch what they're doing.
So you're saying that your training as a security guard for Guilford County Security only includes enforcing policies if people other than employees violate it?
Okay, no, what I'm saying is, as far as if they were violating something relevant to what you're talking about, it's not me that enforces that on them.
Okay. If somebody is assaulted on one of the properties where you're a security guard, is that in your responsibility or your area of expertise?
Yes.
Okay. If somebody is assaulted in the public lobby of the health department, is that in your area of responsibility?
It is.
Okay. On February 4th, 2020, did I try to report an assault?
You did.
Okay. And I was trying to identify the man who assaulted me, correct?
Yes.
And did you assist me with identifying that individual?
No. Because you were being placed under arrest by that officer.
Okay, so what officer are you talking about?
Officer Boyce. Okay,
I was talking about before that, when your security guard, Calvin Robinson, assaulted
relevance.
you. Yeah. The relevance is this is the facts leading up to the arrest. This is on point to why we're here.
I'll sustain it.
Judge, am I not allowed to ask questions of the facts leading up to the arrest?
You can ask questions that involve the arrest.
So this, as far as I know, Judge, everything to establish the timeline, like we have to know why I was being arrested. Like, and if we can't find the facts of what led up to the arrest, then we have no basis for an arrest.
I think we've seen the video.
So am I allowed to ask questions that's leading up to the arrest?
Oh, I'll give you a little latitude.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Dougherty, you said that security camera video reviewed this morning started while I was sitting in a seat. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
And clearly that's not the beginning of my encounter in the health department that day, correct?
I don't know. I was not there, but as far as dealing with the matter of the arrest, that's where it would have started.
Do you know if I had business in the health department that day?
I only know what I was told.
Okay. Did I tell you that Mr. Robeson, at that time I didn't know his name, so I unidentified security guard turned out to be Mr. Robeson. Did I tell you that he assaulted me?
I heard it on the video. You did not tell me directly.
Did I tell you that I wanted to report a crime?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And did you direct me to a police officer so I could report that crime?
I did not direct you to a police officer, no, because Officer Boyce was coming.
Okay. Did Officer Boyce identify himself to me?
At what point in time? He did, but what point are you referencing?
Well, at any point.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And did Officer Boyce identify himself before he put hands on me?
No.
Okay. Did he identify himself before, to use your words, he put me on the ground?
No.
Okay. Now let's go ahead and go to that point of you testified that Officer Boyce put me on the ground, and then you also testified that he did not slam me on the ground. Can you describe and what the difference is there?
Well, slamming is forcefully putting you on the ground. What I would not classify that as slamming you to the ground.
Okay. Did Officer Boyce use force to get me to the ground?
He did.
All right. So, okay. Would you say that he employed a takedown maneuver to put me on the ground?
Somewhat.
Okay. All right. Now, you said that if somebody commits an assault in that public library, that is part of your responsibilities as a security guard, correct?
Yes.
And if an officer does not identify themselves as an officer and they use force to grab somebody and take them to the ground, that is an assault, correct?
I do not know North State Company Police policy on identifying themselves. I have no knowledge of that. Different company.
Okay. Let's talk about your company policy. Are you allowed to grab somebody without identifying yourself and force them to the ground?
Back to the relevance.
No rule.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. According to Guilford County Security's policy, are you allowed to grab somebody without identifying yourself as a security officer and force them to the ground?
It does not specifically state that.
Okay. Is it your policy to wear a uniform while on duty?
Yes.
Okay. Is part of that uniform a name tape or a name badge?
It is.
And was Calvin Robeson also part of Guilford County Security on February 4th, 2020?
He is contracted by Guilford County Security. He was actually an officer for Security Innovations.
Okay. As far as you know, do they, even though they're contracted, do they have to abide by Guilford County Security policy?
Yes.
Okay. So it would be Calvin Robeson should be following that same policy to be in uniform and to wear a nameplate, correct?
Yes.
Was he in uniform that day on February 4th, 2020?
Yes, he was.
Okay. What is the purpose for security officers to have their name tape presented on their uniform?
For identification.
Is it so that the public knows that they are an official representative of a security company?
Yeah, I guess you could say that as well.
Okay. And if a person has a visual impairment and they can't see that you're in a uniform or that you have a nameplate, is it a reasonable accommodation or common sense to verbally identify yourself?
I would agree with that.
Right. And Mr. Roberson did not identify himself to me on February 4th, 2020, correct?
Not in my presence, no.
Okay. And did you instruct me to ask him to identify himself?
I did.
And then after you prompted me to ask him, did he identify himself?
No, I don't think he did.
All right. Are you HIPAA certified?
No, I'm not.
Are any of the security guards that work at the health department HIPAA trained or HIPAA certified?
No.
Back to the relevance.
The relevance is that they work in that public lobby. And
I'll sustain it.
okay. Have you ever been told that if you are within earshot of the service counters in the public health department lobby, that anything that you hear is confidential?
I've never been told that, no.
Okay. Do you have a practice at that location of stopping people at the door to enforce the no electronics device policy?
The officer over there, you can have electronics in the health department. There's nothing that you can't have a cell phone, but you cannot actively be talking or using that device while you're in the health department.
Okay. Is there a no recording device policy at the health department?
Specifically stated, no, that falls under electronics.
Okay. Well, to refresh your memory, can we share this image again of the signage?
Actually, there is a recording sign, no recording sign.
All right, we're gonna try to share that picture for you of what the signage says.
Yeah, there is a recording sign. Yeah, there is a recording sign. Now that I think about it.
Well, we're gonna try to help you out with your memory. We're gonna actually get the picture of what the signage is to make sure that we get it right. Anybody have it? You should. Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Mr. Dougherty, can you read that sign, please?
Yeah, no cameras or other recording devices allowed beyond this point.
Okay, does that sign say no recording?
It does.
Where does it say no recording?
Well, it says no recording devices is what it says.
Okay. So is a smartphone a recording device?
It can be used as one, yes.
And is that policy enforced equally?
If people were recording, it would be, yes.
Well, the sign, you just said it doesn't say no recording. It says no recording device, correct?
You asked me if the policy was enforced equally.
Yes, sir. And I'm asking you, just to make sure I'm clear, I'm making sure we get the record clear. The sign, you said it doesn't say no recording. It says no recording device. And then you said smartphones are recording devices. Is that right?
I said smartphones can be used as recording devices.
Right. But the sign doesn't ban recording. It bans recording devices, right?
Okay. If you go by the sign, yes.
Okay. So is that policy enforced equally?
Yes, it would be, I would assume. I don't work over there full time, so yeah.
Are you a supervisor with the Guilford County Security?
I am.
And you said that you're a supervisor for that whole High Point area for Guilford County Security, right?
Yes.
And that includes this health department?
It does.
Okay. So is it the policy for the security guards to stop people coming in and make sure that they don't have recording devices?
Well, according to the sign, it says they're not allowed, but if people don't pull them out, they're allowed to come in.
Okay.
It's a little different than the courthouse.
Right. Yeah. You don't have everybody empty their pockets. You don't have a metal detector there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if somebody did have a phone in their hand, they would be told it needs to go outside?
Or they were told they need to put it away.
Okay. And is that equally enforced in the health department lobby?
As far as I know, yes.
Did you see the video this morning of the security camera footage?
Yes.
And did you see around the 11-minute mark some lady in a white shirt walk through holding a cell phone?
Specifically, no, but I don't think there was.
You don't doubt that there was?
No.
Okay. Would it surprise you that at the 14-minute mark, another lady in a yellow shirt walked through holding it was a man had his phone in his pocket?
Okay.
In his breast pocket.
I didn't see that specifically, but I don't doubt that people were coming in with phones.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like the security actually enforces that policy equally, does it?
I would say yes. The difference is those people didn't have their phones out doing anything with them recording. They were on their persons.
How do you know that they were or not recording?
Because it was in his pocket.
right? It could be seen sticking out of a man's pocket. You can record that way, can't you?
You could speculate that it was a recording.
Just asking, is it possible for?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, but you guys did not stop those people from having those recording devices.
No.
And you didn't tell them to put it away.
No, it was
Okay.
in the pocket.
But if it's visible and it's out, is that put away?
No, it is not put away.
Okay. You testified under direct examination that you didn't think I sustained any injuries. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you hear me say ow?
Yes.
Did I just say it one time?
No.
Did I say it many times?
You did.
What does that indicate typically?
Typically would indicate pain.
Yeah. Did you hear me say you injured me?
Yes.
Did you hear me say help?
I did.
Did you hear me ask for help many times?
I did.
Did you hear me ask for a disability coordinator?
You did ask for a disability coordinator.
Did anybody render me any medical assistance?
No, at the time, no.
At any time, did anyone render me medical assistance that you observed?
At the time, no, not in my presence.
Okay, thank you. Is that part of your responsibilities? If someone is injured in an area where you're working as security and they ask for help because they claim to be injured, is it part of your duties to make sure they have medical assistance?
Yes.
Why didn't you do it on February 4th, 2020?
Because I did not see anything that would have happened that would have injured you. I actually heard you say ouch, and there was nobody touching you.
Is it your policy, is it Guilford County Security's policy to make a medical assessment whether somebody's injured or not before you call for medical assistance?
Well, yeah. I'm not going to deny that, no.
Okay. So according to policy, as soon as somebody says, ow, I'm hurt, I'm injured, please help, you have a duty to make sure they have medical assistance, right?
Under circumstances, yes.
Okay. But in this case, you chose to ignore those cries for help, correct?
I didn't. I chose to proceed with what was going on based on what had happened.
You did not call for medical.
I didn't see anything happen that you have sustained an injury.
And you're not a medical professional, correct?
No.
You're not trained to make a medical determination whether somebody's injured or not?
No.
Okay. I think that's it for this. At this time, I probably have more questions, Judge, whenever the defense gets to put on a case.
Thank you, ma'am. You're pretty good, ma'am.
Your Honor, can I just redirect a couple questions?
You may.
And Judge, Mr. Nelson, this is about the sign that you had posted up. Can you post that health department sign back up on the screen, please?
Yeah, Mr. Simmons, can you put that sign up, please? Thank you.
And Mr. Simmons, can you zoom in to the sign that has a notice with the blue? Right. And Captain Dougherty, can you see that?
Yeah, I'm trying to make out what it says. The small print at the bottom. Can't make out what it says. What is that? That small print underneath? Authorized.
Your Honor, may Captain Dougherty move around to see the screen a little clearer?
I'll take judicial notice. It says without express permission.
Yes, sir.
Without express permission. Okay.
Captain Dougherty, to your knowledge, did Mr. Nelson have permission or have any authorization to have any recording equipment or devices in the courthouse or the health department?
No.
I don't have any additional questions.
Let me skip down.
What was, can I recross?
You can.
Mr. Dougherty, on that sign, does it have any codification?
Can he zoom back out? No, not that I can see.
Does it say by what authority that sign is put there?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't say any general statute?
No.
It doesn't say county policy number?
No.
It doesn't have a date issued or a date of effect?
Yeah, it's an answered questions.
This witness has not answered these questions.
Restate the question.
Yeah. Do you see a date of effect anywhere on the sign?
No, I do not.
Okay. And the last question that prosecutor just asked, you said you didn't know that if I had permission or authorization to use any devices either at the health department or the courthouse. Is that what you just said?
Correct.
On the 31st, were you in possession of a document, I believe it was from Teresa Vincent, that was a permit for use of electronic devices at the courthouse?
31st. I do not recall. I know that there was a permit done at some point in time. I don't recall what the date was on it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
Fair enough. So, but you do recall that there was, in fact, a permit for use of electronic device, at least at the courthouse?
Yeah, at some point in time, yes, there was one.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. No further questions, Judge.
Let's get now. What we'll do is take a 5-minute recess, and we'll be ready to proceed. Man, recess for 5 minutes.
Corey, I think, I believe.
When you're ready, you can call your next witness.
Our state's next witness will be Officer Boyce.
We're trying to get a new IRA interpreter. The other one had a shift change.
Hey, Jamie, are you going to be able to stay on past the hour?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to go ahead and get the witness sworn in, that's fine. And then just please hold questionings until we're ready.
I'll do that. We'll swear a witness in.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Maybe seated. Just put everybody on notice, the Webex terminates at 5. I was just informed of that. So we'll try to move along as fast as we can.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for your patience. We are ready to go with the interpretation.
You may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Boyce, Officer Boyce, could you just introduce yourself to the court?
Boyce, work at North State Company Police.
He's already been sworn.
Yes, sir. And spell your name for the record.
First and last.
First name.
You can take your mask off if you like.
First name Alphonso, Alphonso. Last name Boyce, Boice. Yes, ma'am.
Where are you employed at currently?
County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been employed with Randolph County Sheriff's Department?
10 months now.
And before your employment there, have you been a sworn law enforcement officer in North Carolina with any other agencies or anywhere else?
Yes, sir.
And where else have you previously been employed as a sworn law enforcement officer?
North State Company Police.
And how long did you work there?
4 years.
And where did you work while you were employed with North State Company Police?
Various places from the bus station to the Guilford County contract. I said various places from the bus station to the Guilford County courthouse.
Employed with North State on February 4th, 2020?
Yes, sir.
And where were you employed that day?
I was at the Guilford County courthouse.
And were you in uniform and on duty that day?
Yes, sir.
And on that day, did you come into contact with an individual who later came to be known to you as Michael Nelson?
Yes, sir.
And can you describe that contact for the court, please?
It was basically he was in the public health building live streaming on his YouTube channel. He was in the public health building live streaming on his YouTube channel. He was asked to leave multiple times. We were called to come over there to assist with the situation. He was given directives to leave. He chose not to leave. He was later on arrested for second-degree trespassing and resisting a public officer.
Were you aware that he was live streaming video?
We pulled it up on our cell phones, and we had gotten word from people in Greensboro who was actually watching it live.
And Mr. Boyce, talk a little louder, maybe a little slower, answering the questions. How is it that you were aware that anything was being live streamed?
on our personal cell phones, and we got word from Greensboro that he was.
And did you see anything on your cell phone?
Yes.
Were you familiar with Mr. Boyce? I'm sorry, were you familiar with Mr. Nelson?
Yes, sir.
And what you pulled up on your cell phone, did you recognize Mr. Nelson in that?
Yes, sir.
Did you recognize that location?
Yes, sir.
What did you recognize the location to be?
I recognize the location to be the public health building right across from the courthouse.
And what did you do after you realized that he was live streaming video?
I was waiting on Captain Dougherty to let me know when he needed me to go assist him with the situation over there, because primary, I'm at the courthouse.
Were you called over there to assist?
Yes, sir.
And did you go over there?
Yes, sir.
What happened when you went over there?
I let the director and Captain Daugherty talk to him first. Then after I saw that was going nowhere, I later intervened, let him know what was going to happen if he didn't leave. Again, he didn't leave, so he was arrested.
And in your capacity with North State Company Police at that time, were you authorized to trespass individuals from county property? At any point, did you ask Mr. Nelson to leave?
Yes, sir.
And what happened when you asked him to leave?
He challenged what I was telling him.
I didn't hear the answer to I think it was 2 questions back, if he was authorized with North State to affect the trespass. If there was a response, we didn't get any audio on this end.
Were you authorized in your capacity with North State Company Police as a law enforcement officer to trespass someone from Guilford County property?
Yes, sir.
And what happened when you asked Mr. Nelson to leave?
He challenged what I was asking him. He started citing what second-degree trespass was. He claimed that I was threatening him with violence and kept asking questions about what he's being trespassed or what is trespass, and was refusing to leave at the time.
Okay. And at that point, what were you basing your instruction to leave the property on?
Him being told by Captain Daugherty and Miss Leslie to leave.
And based on your recollection of that day, do you recall if they had told him to leave in your presence? Do you recall how many times?
I know it was multiple, it was more than 2 times for each person.
Did you ask him if he was recording anything?
No, sir.
Do you recall if he ever said anything about recording in the health department lobby?
Not to my recollection. I know they gave him an option to stop recording or leave.
Do you recall if he said anything after that?
Can't really remember exactly what he said after that.
Do you recall if he at any point denied recording in the health department lobby?
No, he didn't.
And had you had previous contacts with Mr. Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall how many previous contacts you had with him February 4th?
I'm gonna say best recollection is gonna be 2 times at the courthouse.
And during either one of those periods, do you recall if you had any conversation with him about recording or his devices in the county property?
The first time when he was coming in with it, I stated what the policy said, everything on the door. He let me know that it was his visual aids and he needed those to get around and it helped him see and maneuver through things. That's when I got Captain Daugherty to come and explain and figure out how to deal with this situation, because we'd never dealt with this before.
Do you recall making him aware of the recording policy before the incident on February 4th?
Yes.
So did you believe he had notice of that policy on February 4th?
Yes.
Quickly, I just want to ask you about two. I want to ask you briefly about two body-worn camera videos. And Your Honor, these have been previously marked.
Wait 1 second.
Yeah, we lost audio again. I think we probably lost 2 or 3 questions.
If you'll back up and ask the question.
I believe I'd asked you earlier, Deputy Boyce, about any previous contacts you had with Mr. Nelson. Do you recall coming into contact with him prior to February 4th? And during any of those contacts, had you had a conversation with him about the recording or electronic device policy at the county building?
So,
and what do you recall about those conversations?
he was told what the policy was for me, and it further explained by Captain Daugherty about what he can and can't do, what he can and cannot bring inside of the courthouse.
And prior to February 4th, 2020, had you ever informed Mr. Nelson that he could not record or have those devices in the county buildings?
Yes, sir.
And on February 4th, did you believe he was on notice of that policy? I'm going to ask you about two videos. And Your Honor, these have been marked as State's Exhibits 2 and 3. State's Exhibit number 2 is body-worn camera captured by Officer Boyce's body camera on February 4th, 2020. State's Exhibit number 3 is body-worn camera captured by his body camera on January 31st, 2020. And Mr. Deputy Boyce, have you had a chance to review those videos prior to your testimony today?
Yes, sir.
And those videos that you reviewed, are they a fair and accurate depiction of encounters that you had with Mr. Nelson on those respective dates?
Yes.
Has anything in those videos been altered or manipulated in any way to your knowledge?
No.
Have you been directed to alter or manipulate any of the content in those videos?
No, sir.
Has anyone at the district attorney's office directed you to alter or manipulate those videos?
No, sir.
And those videos, would they be helpful for you to illustrate your testimony going forward?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, at this time, similar to my previous request, just asked to admit those. They've already been published for the purpose of viewing, but asked to admit them and incorporate them by reference.
I'll do that. We've already seen them.
Yeah, I object to those being admitted as evidence. The January 31st video, it's maybe a 5 or 6 minute video of a 45-minute encounter, so that's clearly been edited down. The February 4th video also ends prematurely. We don't know what else Mr. Boyce did after the video ends at the magistrate, so that we believe that video has also been edited, and I object to them being admitted as evidence for those reasons.
I note your objection. It's overruled. A minute.
And Officer Boyce, you've had a chance to view those videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Both of the videos?
Yes, sir.
And on the videos, do you use any language, either speaking about Mr. Nelson, that would be uncomfortable or cruelty?
Now, I would say I use a few obscenities in there, but nothing towards Mr. Nelson personally.
Okay. So, can you just explain why you use that language in the videos?
Video, how the body cam set up, it goes back 90 seconds. So
I'm sorry, turn mine off. Try to keep mine turned off. If you can start again, please.
how the body cam set up, it goes back 90 seconds. So in there, you see me click on it while we're inside. It's going to go back to when we were outside. We're having a previous conversation about something I can't remember at the time. Then it goes into us going inside. So it catches 90 seconds before, and then it keeps going until it's cut off at the end after I was going back out to ask him his name, if he was going to answer that question or not.
And you had contact with Mr. Nelson previously?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any feelings of personal animus toward Mr. Nelson?
No, sir.
Did you have any personal feelings that affected the way that you did your job on February 4th?
No, sir.
You saw the video from January 31st, correct?
Yeah.
And I apologize to the court for the language, but did you see on the video at some point you could be heard making a statement, quote, "You're going to fucking jail today"?
Yes.
And did you also hear a statement, "I will put his ass in fucking on the fucking floor today"?
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
As in, if he didn't comply, we're going to have to take him any which way we can. We're not going to let him just do what he wants to do and just pussyfoot around, for lack of better terms, with the policy and getting away with whatever it is he wants to get away with.
At any point were you ever out to get Mr. Nelson?
No, sir.
On February 4th, had he turned around and walked out of the health department building, what would you have done?
I would have been happy. It was time to go home. It was like 4:45, and I really wished he'd have just walked out the door.
Is that what happened?
No, sir.
What happened?
He decided to challenge what he was told. He started to question and cite what he thought was second-degree trespass instead of just walking out the door. And we could talk and walk, but he refused to just turn around and walk. He wanted to stand there and ask questions, challenge everything that was being told to him, claim that he was threatened and everything else.
At that point, did you believe he was trespassing?
Yes, he was.
Why would you believe he was trespassing?
Because if someone tells you to leave and you're going to go to jail and you choose to stay there, clearly you do not want to leave and you're going to continue to trespass.
What did you do after you had determined that a trespass occurred?
Went ahead and placed him in handcuffs and tried to effect an arrest.
And were you able to, at some point, get handcuffs on him and get him restrained and effectuate the arrest?
After a 2, 3, 4 minute struggle, yes.
And where was that struggle at?
Struggle was when he decided to collapse and go down to the ground.
That was in the health department?
Yes, sir.
Was that during business hours?
Yes, sir.
Did you identify yourself to Mr. Nelson?
I identified myself while we were talking. I let him know that I was going to be the one to place him in handcuffs, which any person reasonable thought would know that he's probably a police officer. Then he asked me my name. I stated it. Stated what company I work for. He repeated it 3, 4, 5 times, then still proceeded to say that he was being kidnapped by people he didn't know.
Your Honor, those are my questions on the arrest.
Yeah, Mr. Boyce, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me draw your attention to the body camera video that you took on January 31st, 2020. You said you reviewed that this morning in the courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You also said you reviewed the body camera footage of February 4th that you took. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you review any other notes or any other material in preparation for your testimony today?
No, sir.
Any other video?
No, sir.
Okay. Back to the 31st. How long was I there at the courthouse?
I cannot recall how long you were there.
Was it longer than 10 minutes?
Possibly.
Was it longer than 30 minutes?
Probably not.
And the body camera footage that was played in court was less than 10 minutes, correct?
Yes.
Why does the body camera footage not have the entire encounter?
Because it wasn't turned on until it was turned on. It wasn't turned on until I turned it on.
Okay, and was that body camera issued by North State?
No, sir.
And was it a personal body camera?
Yes, sir.
Did North State Police have a body camera policy?
No.
Okay, are you familiar with public records law in North Carolina General Statute 132?
Back to the relevance.
I'll sustain that.
No, sir.
The relevance is it's a public record he creates with his body camera, and there's laws dictating on how to preserve that for evidence.
I'm gonna sustain it at this point.
Okay. Did you submit that body camera to North State? That's body camera footage?
It was dubbed on a thumb drive and given to the DA when they asked for it.
The question was, did you submit the body camera footage to North State Company Police?
No.
Did you submit that body camera footage to Guilford County Security?
No, it was given to the DA's office.
Did you submit that body camera footage to the attorney for the Guilford County Sheriff's Department?
No.
Did you submit that body camera video to any custodial law enforcement agency?
No.
So before you submitted the video to the district attorney's office, you were the only person in possession of that video, correct?
Yes.
The video from the 31st, the prosecutor just asked you some questions about that. You used some colorful language. You testified that that language was not directed towards me. Is that right?
No, speaking in general.
When you said this fucking guy, you weren't talking about me?
Did I say your name?
That's not the question, sir. Please answer the question.
Well, if your name wasn't mentioned, then it wasn't towards you.
In the context of the video, it's clear that you were talking about me, correct?
In the context that you think it was talking about you, but your name wasn't said, so it wasn't mentioned for you.
Who were you talking about?
I can't remember at that time. It's 2 years ago.
Did you go around and try to get other staff members to tell me to leave so you can effect an arrest?
No, you were talking to Sergeant Gilchrist.
That's not the question. The question is, did you go around and ask other staff members at the courthouse to simply tell me to leave so you can effect a trespass arrest?
No, I didn't go around. You left already, so there's no need for me to go around and talk to anybody.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. In the courthouse on January 31st, 2020, did you talk to other courthouse staff and try to get them to tell me to leave so that you can effect a trespass arrest?
That's an answered question.
No rule. You can answer it.
No.
Okay, do we need to play the video to refresh your memory, sir?
I know what was said. Didn't tell them to go outside. I said next time.
I know. I'm trying to. My computer's messing up. Does anybody just speak louder?
Is that me, Judge?
What can we do to solve that problem, you think?
No, I believe it may be you put your on mute. Is your computer is on mute? Okay. Hopefully it should work now. Oh, and you can turn your sound down, Your Honor. That might be less echoing.
Judge, can you hear me?
Everything coming from this computer and this computer.
I did not hear that, whoever was speaking.
I was saying how we should have it to where all the sound is coming from one computer and one computer alone. That would be able to negate any kind of feedback.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, I got to mute mine so it doesn't have the feedback. So I'm muting now.
Mr. Boyce, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
So back to the 31st video. You said that you wanted to arrest me. Is that correct?
If you refuse to leave, you'll be arrested.
That's a yes or no question.
No, I didn't want to arrest you. But if you refuse to leave, then you'll be arrested.
Mr. Boyce, the question isn't what you wanted to do. The question is what you said. Did you say that you wanted to arrest me?
I can't recall exactly what the words I was said.
Okay. Did you say that you wanted to take me to the ground and put me in handcuffs?
I said, if it came to that, I had no problem doing that.
Okay, we all heard the video, and that's not what was said, Mr. Boyce, correct?
Language in there.
I didn't hear the response. Please don't interrupt. Like when I'm speaking, I need just one person talking. I'll restate the question. Mr. Boyce, on January 31st, 2020, did you say that you wanted to take me to the ground and put me in handcuffs?
No, I said, if it came to it, you'll be taken to the ground. I had no problem doing it.
Okay. Did you, prior to February 4th, 2020, did you have any other encounters with me other than the 31st at the courthouse?
There might have been one more time. I'm not too sure.
I think you mentioned in direct examination that we met at the courthouse a previous time, the first time with Captain Dougherty. Is that right?
Yes.
And that would that be around December 18th, 2019?
I can't recall what day it was.
Does that sound like it's close or could be around that date, mid-December?
I can't confirm that time frame at all, but if you have record, please let us know so you know exactly what day it was.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. I don't know if it was streamed. We definitely have the video of it. We can play it to refresh your memory, but I think we'll save that if we need to use it in trial to help you with that. There, we're trying to get through the suppression hearing. But you did testify on direct that on that first encounter, you and I and Mr. Dougherty had a conversation about my devices being used as visual aids, is what you just said. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I direct your attention to February 4th, the date in question? I think you said that you were told to stand by outside. Who told you to stand by outside?
I believe it was Captain Dougherty.
Captain Dougherty. And outside of the health department, the video we watched this morning, Captain Dougherty went away. He went across the courtyard. You turned back towards the health department, talked to somebody who came out, and you said, "These people." You remember that?
Barely, but go on.
What did you mean by saying "these people"?
I'm not too sure what I was talking to that person for when it came out, but could have been a reference to the situation. Could not have been. I can't recall that.
Well, the video, she said she was talking about watching me addressing the security officer, and you said, "Yeah, these people." You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So what were you referencing when you said these people?
First Amendment auditors.
Okay. I think you also mentioned that when you were talking to the magistrate at the end of your body camera footage. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you mean by First Amendment auditor?
The people who claim they're auditing First Amendment to make money on YouTube.
Okay. And so who were you talking about when you were referencing First Amendment auditors in the video?
The only First Amendment auditor that was in the building.
Judge, can you direct the witness to answer the question, please?
Restate the question.
When you reference First Amendment auditors in your video, who were you talking about?
I was talking about you.
Talking about me. Why did you use that term?
Isn't that what you are? Isn't that what you have on your YouTube page? That you're a First Amendment auditor?
Judge, please direct the witness to answer the questions.
I think he's answered it.
He's being argumentative, Judge. He's not answering the questions. He's non-responsive.
There's the answer. That's what you have on your YouTube page. Is that's what you do? Is that not what you do? Yes.
Let's move on to the third way.
Hey, Mr. Boyce, please respond to the questions that are asked. You're not the one asking questions. Did you swear an oath to uphold the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution as a law enforcement officer?
Yes.
And is part of the First Amendment freedom of the press?
Yes.
And is that First Amendment that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of the press?
Relevance.
The relevance is
I'll sustain that.
This is the relevance of the case. It's one of the key theories of the defense.
I'll sustain it. I'll note your objection.
Right. On February 4th, were you in uniform?
Yes. That's how I come to work.
Was that uniform issued by North State Company Police?
Yes.
And is it part of your policy or the policy of North State Company Police to be fully in uniform?
Yes.
And does that include some kind of identifying name tape or name badge?
Yes.
And were you fully in uniform on February 4th, 2020?
Yes.
Is it part of your policy as a law enforcement officer with North State Company Police to identify yourself to the public?
No.
What is the purpose of North State Company Police having a name tape on the uniform?
So that you can read and see what my name is.
So that who can read and see what the name is?
Anyone in the public.
So it is company policy to make sure you identify to the public, correct?
It's company policy to wear your uniform. It's not possible to walk up to everybody and be like, hey, my name is Officer Boyce, and keep it pushing.
It's a yes or no question, sir.
I said, no, it's not in the policy.
As a law enforcement officer, in order to effect an arrest, are you supposed to ensure that you identify yourself as a law enforcement officer?
That's what the uniform's for.
The question is, Mr. Boyce, as a law enforcement officer, is it law for you to identify yourself as a law enforcement officer in order to effect an arrest?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that on February 4th, 2020?
Yes, I told you I was going to arrest you.
Did you identify yourself as a law enforcement officer prior to trying to effect an arrest?
Did I use specific words as law enforcement officer or police? No, but I told you you're going to be arrested.
Can citizens make an arrest?
They can detain me.
Is there such thing as a citizen's arrest?
It's just a word that civilians use. It's not really a thing.
You're not familiar with North Carolina statutes about citizen's arrest?
No, but if you are, please enlighten me.
Oh, okay. Nope. Just answer the questions. So you did not identify yourself as law enforcement prior to trying to effect an arrest on February 4th, 2020?
I did. I told you he was going to be arrested. I didn't use the exact words that you're using.
Did you say that you were a cop?
I told you he was going to be arrested. I said I did not use the word.
Yes, it's a yes or no. It's a yes or no question, Mr. Boyce. Just answer the question.
No, I didn't say I was a cop.
Okay. Did you say you're a police officer?
No, I didn't say I was a police officer.
Did you say you worked for company police?
I said that after you asked, yes.
We're talking about before you tried to effect an arrest.
No, I didn't say that before.
Did you say that you were with the sheriff's department?
I'm not with the sheriff's department, so no, I wouldn't say that.
Did you say you were any kind of law enforcement?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. Did you hear Miss Barbee tell me that this is my security, they're all my security?
No, I did not.
You didn't hear that? Did you hear that I was trying to file a criminal complaint?
I may have walked in on the end of that.
Did you hear me say I wanted to report a crime?
I heard that part.
Okay. At that point, why didn't you identify yourself as a law enforcement officer to take the criminal complaint?
Your criminal complaint was a man touching your phone. It's not a crime. You said he assaulted your phone.
Is it your job as a law enforcement officer to do a thorough investigation before you come to a conclusion?
Yes. Yes.
Did you do that in this case?
You didn't come to me. You just said it out loud. Remember, you didn't know who I was?
You said you heard that I was trying to report a crime, correct?
Yes.
And you, as a law enforcement officer, you chose to ignore that because you prejudged it to not be true. Is that correct?
Not in production, not be true. There was another issue at hand, and we could have got to that.
You just said that you didn't think it merited a criminal report. Is that right?
I didn't say it merited a report. I just think that's not a crime, and it wasn't the issue at hand. Had you wanted to go further after you were in the back or in custody, or you had left, then yes. But the whole reason was you needed to leave.
You didn't take my criminal complaint, correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And up until that point, was I told to leave?
Not too sure what happened before that.
So up until that point, since you're not sure, you know that one party is trying to report a crime when no other party is trying to report a crime. Why didn't you investigate the reporting party's allegations of a crime?
That's kind of a civil matter. If he touched your phone, so you might have had to go to magistrate and do something civil. There was no damage done to your phone from what I could see because you was using it very well.
Objection, Judge. He's argumentative. He's not answering the question. Please direct the witness to answer the question.
Yeah, re-ask the question.
Mr. Boyce, on February 4th, 2020, in the Public Health Department lobby, you just said that you weren't sure if the staff had directed me to leave, but you did hear me say I wanted to report a crime. Why did you investigate the allegation of a crime from a reporting party?
That's what I told you just now. It's a civil issue.
Do you know what the elements of assault are in North Carolina?
Back to the relevance.
The relevance are I was assaulted in the health department and I was reporting a crime of assault. And the witness.
I'll note your objection.
What was the ruling on the objection?
I sustained it, but I'll note your objection.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. What time is it? Okay. Judge, I have a video to share. We can try this. Hopefully it works with the audio. And if we want to bring in the other witnesses, it's a video that is pertinent to the rest of the questions I have.
I'll do that. I'll bring the other witnesses in. You can get it ready.
Okay, thank you.
It's getting some type of feedback. I'm muted. You should be hearing audio. I don't know where the feedback's coming.
Unmute. Yeah, I don't know why we don't have audio. We've tried 3 different computers. I don't know why the audio is not working on our side.
The audio is working. It's just, wait a minute. Let me stop this.
Mr. Capps, do you have the link to this video? Mr. Capps, can you hear me? Monty, I need you to mute your audio, please. Mr. Simmons, please mute your audio. Mr. Capps, can you hear me?
Mr. Nelson, what was your question?
Yeah, this video is the link that's in the motion. You have that link. Can you try to play it on your end?
Looks like the video is 33 minutes and we won't be able to get it all in by the time they automatically cut us off.
Okay, Judge. What do you suggest we do? This is the video that has the link that was submitted in the motion to suppress, in the written motion.
There's nothing I can do. It appears you tried to run it a few times. I don't know where the malfunction is.
Right. The prosecution has this link, just like I think Wendy Stewart also has it. So anybody there that can play the video, or if we need to play it tomorrow or whenever we need to do it.
Is there any other questions of this witness?
Yes, Judge, but a lot of it is going to be based on this video that we have not reviewed.
Well, since you can't get to run, you'll have to just do without it.
This evidence was submitted in the motion to suppress, and the prosecution, I believe, has the link. So does Wendy Stewart. So if somebody there can pull up that video and play it, because I don't know why the defense side we can't play audio.
Okay, I don't know. Is this the state's video or yours?
This would be defense exhibit A.
So you're responsible for your own exhibit.
Right. We're trying to play it, Judge. It's a problem with the Webex where the defense hasn't been able to play audio, but the prosecution has been able to.
Maybe something wrong with the video.
No, Judge, we've actually played it from different computers. We've tried 3 different computers. It has video and audio. It's the Webex, so I don't know if it's the host. If it's a bad Webex stream, it needs to be restarted. It's definitely not a video issue. It's the Webex issue. The prosecution was able to play audio. For some reason, the defense can't.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a computer person.
Well, this is like a foundational evidence that we have for the defense. It's primary.
Well, this is just motion to suppress. This isn't the case. This is just a motion to suppress.
Okay.
We've got into a lot of evidence here. This is not relevant to what we're here for today.
This video shows the entire encounter from when I entered the health department until I believe Mr. Boyce ended the videos.
Since it doesn't look like it's going to play, if you'd like to just go ahead and question the witnesses on anything else you feel relevant, that's what we'll do.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I just want the record reflect that the defense has been trying to play evidence with audio. It's been unsuccessful. We tried several different computers and different connections. The prosecution can play audio, but for some reason we cannot. Mr. Boyce, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever call for medical services for me?
No, sir.
Excuse me 1 second. Judge, are the other witnesses still present?
They have left the courtroom.
Thank you. Did you hear me say ow after you took me to the ground?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear me say you injured me?
Yes, sir.
Did I say that many times?
A lot of times.
Did I say ow many times?
Yes.
And what does that typically indicate?
That you might be in pain.
Okay. Is
Might
it
be.
your policy from North State Company Police to call for medical assistance when somebody is injured?
Yes.
And you didn't do that in this case, correct?
No.
Are you a medical professional?
No.
Can you determine whether somebody is injured or not?
No.
When you were trying to effect the arrest, did you use a takedown maneuver to get me to the ground?
No, sir.
Okay. The video evidence that we're trying to show would show that you did use a takedown maneuver to take me to the ground. Correct?
No.
Okay. I just want the record to reflect that we cannot play that video to show that because of the Webex accommodation is not allowing the video to be played.
I'll note that for the record.
You did not identify yourself as law enforcement until after you had me on the ground, correct?
Yes.
How many times did I ask you to identify yourself before you did?
Twice during the struggle, right behind each other.
Was it more than twice?
It was about 2 times.
Was it maybe 9 times?
I can't keep count because I can't remember how many times.
With identifying how many times, correct?
Yes.
Eventually, you identified yourself as Boyce with North State, correct?
Yes.
And after you identified yourself, did I offer any physical resistance?
Yes.
Was I pulling away from you?
He was passively resisting me.
You say passively resisting. What do you mean?
As in, you wouldn't assist yourself to get up and be taken into custody. You just went dead weight and laid there.
Okay. So is not doing something the same thing as doing something?
Yes, but in a different light.
Okay, but I wasn't moving and resisting you physically, correct?
No, you were just laying there dead weight, refusing to move.
Okay. And that's after being taken to the ground and saying you injured me, correct?
You said you were injured while we're on the ground, while you were in handcuffs. Yes.
Okay. Do you know that it's dangerous to move somebody that sustained a head injury or neck injury?
I believe it is.
And in district court, you testified that while you had me in the wheelchair, that I was flopping around in the wheelchair. Is that right?
You were moving every time we go through a doorway to either stick your leg out or stick your head out to hit the doorway.
Did the video of the body camera reflect that this morning?
Not necessarily, because I was beside you or in front of you or carrying all your stuff.
Is it true that the video didn't show me moving at all during that encounter?
It showed you moving in a wheelchair because it showed when we got you in, you will stick your leg out and wouldn't put your legs inside the little leg holders of the wheelchair.
Okay. Did the video? It's true. Excuse me. Strike that. Is it true that the video, your body camera video from this morning, did not show me flopping about in the wheelchair like you testified in district court?
As I said, no, because I was next to you or holding your stuff, so the body cam was blocked. That's what I saw you do.
So you're saying that the video does not show me flopping around in the wheelchair, correct?
No, it shows you passively resisting us from going in the wheelchair.
The question is, in the wheelchair, the video does not show me flopping around, correct?
No, the video doesn't show that. It was obscured.
Okay, thank you. Towards the end of your video, body camera from the 4th, you can hear your voice say, watch his head, and then there's a thump. You can hear me say, ow, my head. Did you hear that?
No, you didn't say anything because I said, well,
we played the video and audio this morning in court. That was clearly audible. You didn't hear that this morning?
I'll sustain that. And re-ask the question.
Okay. I didn't hear what the objection was, Judge.
You can restate the objection.
I can't hear Mr. Capps at all.
The objection was to the scope of the question. We're past the point where you're arrested and in custody at this point that you're asking Mr. Boyce about being over at the magistrate's office or in the courthouse.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it goes to the malice and the biasness that Mr. Boyce has. If he's willing to oversee me being knocked unconscious, then that coupled with his demeanor from the previous video is a good indication that he'd be willing to perjure himself on the stand, that he'd be willing to enact an arrest without probable cause.
I'll sustain it and I'll note you the exception.
Thank you. Okay. Are you HIPAA certified or trained?
Sure.
What was the response?
No.
Have you been trained with your law enforcement training how to engage with people with disabilities?
Some disabilities, yes.
Have you been trained on how to engage with people with invisible disabilities?
No, because if you can't see, then you don't know they have it. I said, if you can't see, then you don't know that they have it. So how would you know they have a disability?
Does your law enforcement training include looking for cues or treating people as if they may have an invisible disability, such as a cognitive disability or a mental disability?
Yes.
And were you adhering to that training on February 4th, 2020?
Yes.
What kind of, strike that. Your law enforcement training on how to engage with people with cognitive disabilities, does it include speaking in a calm demeanor?
Yes.
Does it include not making threats?
Yes.
Does it include articulating the situation?
Yes.
And did you do that on February 4th, 2020?
Yes.
Is it true you said you have 5 seconds to leave?
Yes.
Is that acting in a calm manner?
We were past the point of calm manner.
Okay. Judge, I think all the other questions I have are going to be highly dependent upon sharing the video that I'm unable to share due to the Webex. So at this point, I don't think I can proceed with my cross-examination.
Your Honor, that's the evidence from the state as it pertains to Mr. Nelson's suppression motion on the arrest.
I think we have about 10 more minutes. Anything that you'd like to say, Ms. Nelson?
Yeah, can we call Leslie Barbee back in?
I can. And you're still under oath from earlier today. And you can take your mask off and make it easier for everybody. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Barbee, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think Wendy Stewart has some printouts that can be handed to the judge, to the prosecutor, and to the witness.
Your Honor, I've got those if I can approach the court and then hand one to Ms. Barbee.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Ms. Prosecutor. Ms. Barbee, can you see those documents?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the response was.
No.
No? Okay, can you read what these documents are?
One says the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina interacting with patients living with traumatic brain injury. The other one says crisis management and de-escalation.
Hey, do you see anywhere on there that it's the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina is abbreviated as BIANC, B-I-A-N-C. Do you see that it's a collaboration between BIANC and the Department of Health?
On which page?
I'm not sure which one it's going to say. What does it have a website on the page?
Your Honor, I would object to the relevance at this point. I'm looking over these documents. It's about traumatic brain injury, crisis management, de-escalation. Mr. Nelson is not familiar with what's on these documents. He's asking the witness where the words are.
Yeah, I am familiar with it.
How this is relevant to the trespass issue and the RDO that we're trying to get through this suppression hearing for.
This issue is directly relevant. It goes to the training that the staff has on dealing with persons with disabilities. This whole case revolves around disability. This pamphlet is a handout that was made in conjunction with the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina and the Health Department. That is located at the bottom of the page. I don't know the visual layout of it because I can't see it. I know what information is on it, but I don't know the visual layout of it because of my disability.
I sustain this at this time on this motion, without no exception.
Okay. Ms. Barbee, on February 4th, 2020, in the Health Department, did you tell me that this is my security, this is our security, and these are all our security?
Yes.
Did you tell me that there was a law enforcement officer present?
I'm sure I said security. We have several different entities that includes.
Okay, but you did not say there's a law enforcement officer present?
Yes, I believe I did.
Okay, now which is it? You just said that you said security, now you're saying law enforcement. Which one is true?
Security, which includes, I mean, I don't, I'm assuming that includes law enforcement.
Okay, it does not. And the video that you listened to this morning of Boyce's body camera, you did not say anything about law enforcement, correct?
I did not say law enforcement. I did say security.
Thank you. Did you hear Mr. Boyce identify himself as law enforcement?
I heard him say his name. I don't recall him saying law enforcement.
Did you hear him identify himself prior to grabbing me and trying to effect an arrest?
Again, I don't remember.
Okay. All right. I guess at this time, no further questions since we can't play the video for them and the Bianc pamphlet is not being permitted. So thank you. I didn't hear.
Have a chance to read the motion to suppress, and I'll let y'all know something tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I have oral arguments prepared as well. I think I have a couple cases I sent to the prosecutor. I can also send that to you that I'll be prepared to argue.
You can send that to me and I'll take a look at it.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, are the witnesses released? Do they need to come back?
Everyone's free to go. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. De Oppresso Liber.